The vast darkness of space surrounded the Malar ship as it approached the third planet of this unremarkable yellow star. Captain Tayo stood on the bridge, his tall frame silhouetted against the main viewport. For centuries, the Malar had searched the stars for other intelligent life. Their sophisticated sensors had detected radio signals from this planet decades ago, but only now had the High Council authorized direct contact. "Captain, we are entering the outer orbit as planned," reported Navigator June, his fingers moving across the control panel. "Standard approach pattern is engaged." Taejo nodded. "Maintain course." "Science Officer Hyun, what do your preliminary scans tell us about this world?" Hyun, a slender female with the characteristic silver eyes of all Malar, studied her data screens. "The planet appears to match our assessment from long-range scans. Nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere, significant water coverage, and a developing technological civilization. Nothing particularly notable. They've barely begun exploring their own solar system." "Another fledgling species," sighed Taejo. "The Malar had hoped to find equals among the stars, not more primitive civilizations to guide. Begin the standard first contact protocols. We'll observe from high orbit for several rotations before making our presence known." The ship glided silently into Earth's orbit, positioning itself where detection by human technology would be minimal. The crew went about their duties with practiced efficiency, cataloging data about this new world. Most seemed unexcited by their discovery. After all, this was the 12th developing world they had found in the past century. 2 hours into their observation, Science Officer Hyun's console began emitting a soft alarm. Her silver eyes widened as she examined the readings. "Captain," she called, her voice unusually tense. "The sensors must be malfunctioning. These energy signatures from the planet's surface, they're far beyond what a pre-interstellar civilization should be producing." Taejo moved to her station. "Run a diagnostic check." "Already done, sir. The readings are accurate." Hyun's fingers danced across her console. "The energy output from certain regions of the planet is comparable to our own secondary colonies." This caught the attention of Engineer Dowen, who left his station to join them. "That's impossible. Their technology level should be at least 3 centuries behind such energy production methods." "Bring us closer to the night side of the planet," ordered Taejo. "I want visual confirmation." Navigator June adjusted their orbit, bringing the ship around to the dark side of Earth. As the planet's night region came into view through the main viewport, the bridge fell completely silent. Below them sprawled vast patterns of light, enormous glowing webs that covered entire continents. Massive concentrations of illumination marked what could only be enormous cities, some stretching hundreds of kilometers in every direction. "Those aren't settlements," whispered Hyun. "Those are mega-cities." Engineer Dowen shook his head in disbelief. "Our scans indicate some of these structures reach over 3 kilometers into the sky. They've built upward, not just outward." Taejo stepped closer to the viewport, his reflection staring back at him against the backdrop of Earth's glittering surface. "How did we miss this? Our long-range assessments were based on their space technology and communications," finished Hyun. "We assumed their planetary development would match their limited space presence." The captain turned to Communications Officer Mina. "Send an urgent message to the High Council. We've significantly underestimated this species." As the crew continued to gather data, their earlier indifference transformed into fascination. The humans had done something unprecedented. They had focused their technological development inward rather than toward the stars. "Sensors detect complex transportation networks moving through these megastructures," reported Dowen. "They've built 3-dimensional cities with integrated systems our engineers would admire." Taejo made a decision. "Prepare a diplomatic team. We're moving up the contact schedule." "Sir?" questioned Mina. "The protocols suggest observation for at least—" "The protocols assumed a certain technological level," interrupted Taejo. "This species deserves our respect, not our study from afar. We will introduce ourselves properly." As the Malar ship began its approach toward Earth's designated diplomatic zone, Taejo gazed at the gleaming cities below. He had come expecting to find students, but now wondered if perhaps they had found teachers instead. The humans had built wonders without leaving their world, and for the first time in his long career, Captain Tejo felt genuine excitement about a first contact. The Mailer were about to meet the architects of Earth's megacities, and nothing in their protocols had prepared them for this moment. The Malar ship descended through Earth's atmosphere, a gleaming silver oval against the blue morning sky. Inside the vessel, the alien delegation made final preparations for humanity's first official contact with extraterrestrial life. Atmospheric composition confirmed safe, Engineer Jiwoo announced, checking her instruments. No need for breathing assistance. Captain Taijo nodded, adjusting the formal silver sash across his chest. In his centuries of space exploration, he had made first contact with several species, but none had surprised him like the humans already had. Remember, he addressed his team. We approach as equals, not as advanced benefactors. These humans have achievements our analysts failed to predict. Ambassador Sunwoo stood beside him, her tall frame draped in the ceremonial robes of the Malar Diplomatic Corps. The landing site appears to be a facility specifically constructed for our arrival. Impressive, given the short notice we provided. Through the viewports, the delegation watched as the clouds parted to reveal a sprawling mega-city. Below, Neo-Sol stretched across what humans once called the Korean Peninsula, a vast interconnected network of towering structures that seemed to defy gravity. Even from their height, they could see transport pods zipping between buildings along transparent tubes while flying vehicles moved in perfect coordination through designated aerial corridors. Magnificent, whispered Science Officer Hyun, recording everything with her ocular implants. Look at those vertical farms integrated into the residential towers. The efficiency must be extraordinary. The ship's navigation system received detailed landing coordinates, guiding them toward a circular platform that extended from the outskirts of Neo-Sol. As they drew closer, they could see a gathering of humans in formal attire waiting on the platform. Their communication technology is primitive compared to ours, yet their urban development exceeds expectations, noted Engineer Jiwoo. It's as if they chose a completely different evolutionary path for their technology. Captain Tejo watched as they approached the landing zone. Sometimes necessity dictates innovation. Perhaps their environmental challenges pushed them toward these solutions. The ship touched down with barely a sound, its advanced systems compensating for Earth's gravity and atmospheric conditions. Through the external cameras, they could see the human delegation standing in perfect formation, apparently untroubled by the arrival of visitors from another world. They seem remarkably calm, observed Ambassador Sunwoo. Either they are exceptionally well prepared, replied Taijo, or they're better at hiding their emotions than our reports suggested. The external sensors began collecting data on the landing site, and Engineer Jiwoo let out a surprise sound. Captain, the platform we've landed on, it's utilizing gravity-dampening technology. Primitive compared to ours, but functional. They built this specifically for our arrival. The delegation shared uneasy glances. Each new discovery about human capabilities contradicted their previous assessments. The ship's outer door slid open, extending a walkway to the platform's surface. Captain Taijo led the way, followed by Ambassador Sunwoo and 5 other Malar representatives. Earth's air hit them immediately, richer in oxygen than their homeworld, carrying unfamiliar scents. At the bottom of the walkway stood a woman in a deep blue uniform adorned with silver symbols of authority. She stepped forward with a confident smile. Welcome to Earth. I am Director Minji of the Interstellar Relations Bureau. On behalf of humanity, we are honored by your presence. Ambassador Sunwoo's translator processed the words instantly. She bowed slightly in response, a gesture their cultural researchers had identified as respectful in many human societies. The honor is ours, Director Minji. I am Ambassador Sunwoo of the Malar Confederation. We come in peace and friendship. As the formal introductions continued, Captain Taijo studied the backdrop behind the human delegation. From this vantage point, Neo-Sol's true scale became apparent. Structures rose kilometers into the sky, their surfaces covered with greenery. and solar collection panels. Countless transport tubes connected the buildings, carrying what must be millions of people daily. "Our facilities are prepared for your comfort," Director Minji was saying. "We've adjusted environmental controls based on the atmospheric composition your ship transmitted." "You were able to implement such adjustments so quickly?" asked Science Officer Hyun, unable to hide her surprise. A man beside Director Minji stepped forward. "Assistant Director Do Hyun, at your service. And yes, our city's environmental systems are designed for rapid adaptation, a necessity when constructing habitats that house millions." As the delegation boarded sleek transport vehicles that would take them into Neo-Sol, Captain Taejo couldn't help but feel a growing sense of humility. The Malar had come expecting to find a species still struggling with basic space travel. Instead, they had found architectural and urban engineering marvels beyond their expectations. The vehicles lifted smoothly into the air, joining the orderly flow of traffic toward the heart of the megacity. Through the transparent roof, the Malar watched as the impossible spires of human ingenuity rose around them, a testament to a species that had chosen to perfect their world before reaching for the stars. The transport pod glided smoothly through, a crystalline tube suspended between two massive structures. Inside, Captain Taejo and his delegation sat across from Director Minji and Assistant Director Do-hyun. The pod moved in near silence, offering panoramic views of Neo-Sol's breathtaking vertical landscape. "This transit system connects all 37 sectors of our city," explained Director Minji. "We can reach any point within Neo-Sol in under 20 minutes. Science Officer Hyun pressed her palm against the transparent material of the pod. "The energy efficiency must be remarkable. I detect minimal heat signature from the propulsion system." "Correct." Assistant Director Do-hyun nodded. "The pods use magnetic levitation combined with vacuum tube principles. The entire system runs on renewable energy, collected by the buildings themselves." The pod banked gracefully around a massive tower covered in greenery. Terraced gardens spiraled up its exterior, while water systems created small, flowing streams between levels. "Each residential arcology houses approximately 1 million citizens," continued Director Minji. "This particular tower includes living spaces, food production, medical facilities, educational centers, and recreational areas." Captain Taejo exchanged glances with Ambassador Sunwoo. The scale was difficult to comprehend, even for spacefaring beings accustomed to colony ships. "How did your species come to build in this manner?" Ambassador Sunwoo asked. "Most civilizations expand outward before building upward at this scale." Director Minji's expression turned solemn. "Necessity. 2 centuries ago, our climate crisis reached a breaking point. Much of our arable land was lost to rising seas or extreme weather. We had to make a choice: continue spreading across our remaining land or redesign our concept of human habitation." The pod slowed as it approached a massive central hub where dozens of transit tubes converged. Through the transparent walls, they could see thousands of humans moving efficiently through the station. "The first megacities were crude compared to what you see today," added Assistant Director Do-hyun, "but each generation improved the design. We learned to integrate nature with technology, to create self-sustaining ecosystems within our structures." The Q delegation departed the pod, following their human hosts into the central exchange, a vast open space stretching hundreds of meters in every direction. Sunlight streamed through the transparent ceiling far above, illuminating trees and plants growing throughout the interior. Waterfalls cascaded down interior walls, collecting in streams that flowed through the floor. Engineer Jiwoo activated, her sensor array discreetly. "The water is being filtered and recirculated, nothing is wasted." Director Minji led them toward a quieter observation deck overlooking the exchange. "This is the heart of Neo-Sol. Citizens come here not just for transit but for community. Food markets, art displays, educational facilities, all coexist in this space." Captain Taejo watched humans of all ages moving below. Children played near a shallow pool while elders sat beneath flowering trees. Despite the enormous population density, the space felt peaceful and organized. "Tell me," he said finally, How did your species achieve such harmony in these dense living conditions? Our own attempts at arcology structures faced significant social challenges. Assistant Director Do-hyun smiled slightly. The designs themselves were only half the solution. We had to evolve culturally as well. Our social structures adapted alongside our physical ones. Our history books tell of the difficult transition, added Director Minji. The early decades of megacity development saw many failures. But with each generation, we learned to value shared spaces, to find privacy within community, to balance individual needs with collective well-being. The tour continued through vertical farms where robots tended crops under specialized lighting. They visited energy collection centers where kinetic energy from daily human movement was captured and stored. They observed classrooms where children learned skills for maintaining their complex vertical world. During a meal shared in a garden terrace suspended halfway up one of the massive towers, Science Officer Hyun finally voiced what many in the Seoi delegation were thinking. Your civilization has solved problems we still struggle with, she admitted. We assumed that without interstellar travel, your species would be technologically limited. We were wrong. Director Minji passed a plate of cultivated fruits to the aliens. Different challenges lead to different solutions. While you mastered the stars, we had no choice but to perfect our own world first. Our planets shaped our priorities. As evening fell, the megacity transformed. Lights illuminated the structures from within, creating a dazzling display visible even from orbit. Standing on an observation platform near the top of the central exchange, Captain Taijo looked out over the human achievement. We came here expecting to share our knowledge with you, he said quietly to Director Minji. Now I wonder what our people might learn from yours. That, replied the human director, is the true purpose of first contact, isn't it? Not just to discover we are not alone, but to discover new ways of being. Below them, 30 million humans went about their evening in a marvel of engineering and social cooperation. A megacity that had stunned the stars. 3 days after their arrival on Earth, the Malar delegation gathered in the Knowledge Exchange Center, a spherical structure suspended between 4 megatowers in Neo-Sol's diplomatic quarter. The room featured a circular table with the human representatives on one side and the aliens on the other. Captain Taijo had spent the previous night sending detailed reports to the Malar High Council. Their initial assessment of Earth as a developing world had been so fundamentally wrong that the Council demanded hourly updates. Now, he sat beside Ambassador Sunwoo as they prepared for the first formal exchange of information. Director Minji activated the central holographic display with a simple hand gesture. 3-dimensional images of both Malar and Earth ships appeared, rotating slowly above the table. As agreed, we will begin our knowledge exchange today, she said. Our leaders have approved sharing specified technologies that may benefit both our peoples. Ambassador Sunwoo nodded. The Malar Confederation offers interstellar propulsion technology as our initial contribution. While your species has achieved remarkable feats on your planet, we can help you reach beyond your solar system. Engineer Jiwoo stepped forward, placing a small crystal cube on the table. This contains the basic principles of our faster-than-light travel system. It is compatible with your data storage methods, as confirmed by our technical teams. The humans showed remarkably little excitement at being offered technology that most species would consider miraculous. Instead, Assistant Director Do-hyun placed a similar cube beside the Malar offering. In exchange, we offer our complete arcology engineering database and ecosystem management protocols, he said. This includes the vertical farming techniques you expressed interest in yesterday, along with our water recycling systems. Captain Taijo noticed Science Officer Hyun straighten in her seat. The Malar had been struggling with resource management on their colony worlds for generations. What the humans offered so casually might solve problems their best scientists had worked on for centuries. We accept with gratitude, said Ambassador Sunwoo. Our preliminary observations suggest your urban efficiency algorithms may benefit our homeworld significantly. The formal exchange continued for several hours. The Malar offered advanced medical scanning technology, The humans shared their neural interface systems for urban management. The aliens provided stellar mapping data. The humans offered their climate control methodologies. During a brief recess, Engineer Jiwoo pulled Captain Taejo aside, her voice low with excitement. "Captain, I've been reviewing the human data on their waste reclamation systems. Their technology is simultaneously simpler and more efficient than ours. Implementation on our colony worlds could increase population capacity by nearly 40%. "How is that possible?" Taejo asked. "Their technological development timeline is shorter than ours." "That's just it," Jiwoo replied. "They didn't have the option of expanding to new worlds when their resources became strained. They had to solve their problems here, with what they had. The constraints produced remarkable innovation." When the meeting reconvened, Science Officer Hyun requested permission to ask a direct question. "Your megacities," she began, addressing Director Minji, "they appear to have been developed out of necessity, yet the solutions exceed mere survival. There is beauty and harmony in your designs that suggests something more than practical problem-solving." "Director," Minji smiled, "you are perceptive, Science Officer. When facing extinction, humans could have built efficient but soulless habitats. Many early attempts were exactly that, functional but devoid of what makes life worth living. Those failed." "Failed?" Ambassador Sunwoo inquired. Assistant Director Doyen nodded. "The psychological effects were devastating. We learned that humans cannot thrive in environments built solely for survival. We need beauty, community, connection to nature. The megacities you see today incorporate art, shared spaces, and natural elements not because they are efficient, but because they are necessary for human well-being." Captain Taejo thought of the sterile efficiency of many Mylar colony worlds, where function always superseded form. Perhaps this explained the social unrest that plagued their newer settlements. As the day's exchange concluded, Director Minji made an unexpected offer. "Tomorrow we would like to show you something beyond Neo Seoul. If your delegation is willing, we have prepared transportation to what we call a wilderness preservation arcology in what was once the Amazon basin." "Another city?" asked Ambassador Sunwoo. "Not exactly," replied Director Minji. "When we concentrated our population in megacities, we were able to return large portions of Earth to natural states. The preservation arcologies are different. They combine limited human habitation with massive ecological restoration projects." Later that evening, aboard their ship, Captain Taejo sent his daily report to the High Council. He included Engineer Jiwoo's assessment of the human technologies and his own observations. "Request immediate reclassification of Earth from developing world to advanced civilization," he concluded. "Additionally, recommend integration of human urban design principles into our ongoing colony development projects. The exchange of knowledge with humanity may benefit the Malar Confederation in ways we never anticipated from a species that has yet to leave their solar system." As he signed off, Taejo gazed through the viewport at Neo Seoul gleaming in the night. Sometimes, he reflected, the greatest journeys were not outward to the stars, but inward toward better ways of living. 1 year after first contact, Ambassador Taejo stood on the observation deck of the Mylar High Council building, gazing at the changes below. Construction crews moved efficiently across the landscape, building the first Earth-designed arcology on the Malar homeworld. Where once there had been sprawling, inefficient structures spreading across the land, now rose the foundations of a vertical city inspired by human designs. "Quite a sight, isn't it?" said Counselor Eunha, joining him at the viewport. Her formal robes rustled as she moved, the insignia of the Science Ministry gleaming on her collar. "When I left for Earth last year, I never imagined we would be the ones transformed by the encounter," Taejo replied. The past year had seen rapid changes throughout the Mylar Confederation. After the initial knowledge exchange, teams of human engineers had been invited to visit the Malar homeworld and colony planets. Their insights into urban design and ecosystem management had revolutionized Malar thinking. "The eastern continent, arcology will house 10 million citizens when complete," Yuna said. Early projections show a 40% increase in population capacity, with 65% less resource consumption. Below them, the distinctive spiral pattern of a Neo-Soul-inspired structure took shape. Unlike traditional Mailer architecture, which separated functions into different districts, the human design integrated living spaces, food production, and community areas into a single, efficient system. And the humans? Have they made use of our offerings? Taejo asked. Yunha activated a data screen on the window. It displayed images of Earth's first interstellar vessel under construction in orbit around their moon. They've adapted our propulsion technology with remarkable speed. Their engineers made modifications we hadn't considered. The vessel will be ready for its first test flight next month. Ambassador Taejo wasn't surprised. In his year representing the Mylar on Earth, he had witnessed the creativity and adaptability of humans firsthand. What had initially shocked the Mylar, humans' focus on perfecting their own world rather than reaching for the stars, now seemed wise rather than primitive. Ambassador Minji's shuttle will be arriving shortly, Yuna noted, checking the time. The council is eager to hear her proposal for the joint colony project. The mention of the project brought a smile to Taeho's face. 6 months ago, it would have been unthinkable for the Mylar to consider a shared colony world with a species that had just achieved interstellar capability. Yet here they were, planning humanity's first extrasolar settlement, built together with Mylar expertise and human design principles. She brings a team of their best arcology engineers, Taejo said. They've developed specific modifications for the planet's higher gravity and atmospheric conditions. The two Mylar moved from the observation deck to the council's receiving area. Along the way, they passed dozens of humans working alongside Mylar scientists and engineers. The initial cultural awkwardness had given way to genuine collaboration, each species bringing unique perspectives to shared problems. In the main atrium, a newly installed garden showcased earth plants alongside native Mylar flora. The integration of natural elements into functional spaces, once considered inefficient by Mylar standards, had quickly become popular after human designers demonstrated the psychological and physical benefits. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if we had discovered a different species first, Yunha mused as they waited. One that shared our original priorities. We would have continued building outward instead of upward, Taejo replied. Expanding. Across worlds rather than perfecting our use of them. Meeting the humans forced us to reconsider assumptions we didn't even know we held. The arrival chime sounded, announcing Ambassador Minji's shuttle. As the diplomatic party entered, Taejo was struck again by how comfortable the relationship between their species had become in such a short time. Ambassador Taejo, Minji greeted him warmly. I brought something special for you to see. She gestured to one of her aides who activated a holographic display. The image showed a new Earth megacity under construction in what humans called North America. Unlike the older cities, this one clearly incorporated Mylar design elements, the signature crystalline materials and energy distribution systems that had made Mylar ships so efficient. The first truly hybrid city, Minji explained. Human principles of community and integration with nature, combined with Mylar energy technology and materials science. As the council members gathered to examine the plans, Taejo reflected on the unexpected journey of the past year. The Mylar had ventured into space seeking new knowledge and resources. They had expected to find primitive worlds to guide or empty planets to colonize. Instead, they had found partners who challenged their most basic assumptions about progress and civilization. Outside the council chamber, the new arcology continued to rise from the ground, a physical monument to the meeting of two species who had found different paths to advancement. One had reached for the stars while the other had perfected their home. Together they were creating something neither could have imagined alone. We sought the stars expecting to be teachers, Taejo said quietly to Minji as they walked toward the council chamber. Instead, we became students as well. Minji smiled. The best partnerships are those where everyone has something to learn,